Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we are going to be learning Pineapple Uke Blues. And I know what you're thinking, why is it called that when clearly I'm not playing it on a pineapple ukulele? Well, this song was actually written by Jari Tolvanen, and I'll put the video right here. I came across his performance in the Facebook group For the Love of Uke. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description box below to that group so that you can join. I'd encourage you to join. It's a group of awesome ukulele players. And I was just blown away. I thought it was a super cute melody and it looked like a blast to play. And Jari was kind enough to allow me to teach a lesson on it. So I really appreciate that. I'm also going to put a link to his original performance. I'd highly encourage you to watch that also, because I did adapt a few things here and there to kind of better reflect my playing style. So what would be really cool is if you watch his performance, watch my performance, and go through this lesson and take elements from both, mix it up, and create your own style for this tune. So let's talk about this lesson really quick. So this is at an advanced level for playing. So I would recommend it for the advanced player. Now, if you fall beneath that level of playing, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it, because some of the best advice I ever heard was this. If you're trying to learn and tackle a piece that's a little bit above your current playing level, give it a shot. Because even if you don't learn the entire piece, you're going to get better in the process. So in this video, we're actually going to learn the entire song. So guys, if you want to get the tabs, they're going to be 100% free at rockclass101.com. So you can click this link right here or just go to the site and do a search for Pineapple Uke Blues. Now you will have to sign up for basic membership, but again, that's 100% free, and then you can get the tabs, print them off, and follow along with me. Now, if you are a premium member on the site, then you get one bonus asset, which is the on-screen tab viewer. Now, this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into learning this tune. Now, there's a few things that we need to cover really quick before we actually start learning it. And these are things that you have to have under your belt for this song. So first off, this song has a swung eighth note feel. So if you're new to knowing the difference between straight eighth notes and swung eighth notes, I'm going to put a link to a lesson in the YouTube description box below that gives a great example of both and talks about the differences. Next, we're going to be calling out the rhythms that we're playing. So if you need to brush up on understanding rhythmic notation, check out this lesson. And last but not least, there are a few techniques that are going to be required. First off, there is a fan strum, which is also known as rasgueado, which is this four-finger approach to get this big sound in your strum. We actually had a lesson that came out probably a few weeks ago. It was a flamenco tune, which went really in depth into explaining the mechanics behind this technique. So I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to check out that lesson. And there's also a triplet strum that happens a couple times in this tune. So I'm going to put two lessons. There's going to be a lesson to teach you that mechanics behind the triplet strum. And there's also going to be an explanation of eighth note triplets. So what does that mean from a rhythmic standpoint? So both of those links will also be in the description box below. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into learning this tune. We're going to tackle the intro first, which is just 2 bars. So let me go ahead and play it for you, then we'll break it down and learn it. All right, so that's what it sounds like. So let's just tackle 1 bar at a time. So the first bar is, so we have la da 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 ba da. So great rule of thumb is that if you can sing it, you can play it. So even though we're going to call out rhythms, try and get that beat, that rhythm stuck in your head. It's going to help you get it down that much easier. All right, so we're going to kick off with playing out of this G6 chord. So it's basically like a regular G. If you make a regular G, lift up that ring finger and you have an open E. So that's all we're going to do. And we're going to actually slide into this. So move it back a half step, start on that first fret, and you're going to go ahead and slide in to the second fret. Now, if you're following with the tab, which I hope you are, you can notice that it says third and first string is to pluck that and slide in. Now, it really doesn't matter. You can go ahead and pluck all 4 strings, or you can target just those 2 strings. So we're going to go ahead and slide into that second fret, and that's going to fall on beat 1. So for beat 2, we're actually going to pluck the G6, and then we can come up and hit the first string by itself with the thumb. I like to use the nail of my thumb. And speaking of this, by the way, we should also mention the finger picking approach that I'm using throughout this. And it's really a blend of 2 approaches. It's a 4-finger approach and a 3-finger approach. So 4-finger, each finger gets its own string. For the 3-finger, the thumb would get the 4th and the 3rd string. Index gets the 2nd, middle gets the 1st. If you're new to using 3 and 4-finger approach, check out our finger picking concepts as it goes really in depth into both approaches. So again, I'm going to go ahead and slide into that 2nd fret, and then I can pluck again and come up and hit just the 1st string. Now this is my playing style, so if you're used to coming up with the thumb, you're more than welcome to strum more than just the 1st string. So you can come up and just strum all 4 strings if you wish. Doesn't really matter. And that's why I encourage you to watch Jari's playing too, because you can see that when he comes up, he does strum multiple strings. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and. After that, we're going to go back a half step, so where we started, so it's 1 and 1, and we get a diminished chord, and we're going to go ahead and strum down, and then we're going to pluck it again, and then come up with the thumb and hit just the 1st string, and this time it's going to be open. Okay, so if we put that together, guys, we have slide, pluck, 1 strum, pluck 1, and if I call out that rhythm, I have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, so let's see if we can give it a shot together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, now for bar 2, we're going to go ahead and lift everything up. We're going to be playing out of the C6, which is just all open strings. So we can strum this for the 1 beat. Well, actually, let me play this bar real quick so you can get the context of it. So very simple bar. So it's going to start with the open. So we got strum and then come up with the thumb and hit string 1. We're going to slap on beat 2. So if you're new to slaps, I'll put a lesson on chucking in the description box below. We're going to slap on beat 2, and then we're going to come up and pluck. So that lesson talks about my approach for slapping. I like to slap in this claw shape. That way each finger, 4-finger approach, is in action to come up and pluck. So that's the easy trick for me for getting this percussive hit and coming up and playing out of a chord. So again, I've got strum 1, slap, and then I'm going to pluck on the end of 2, and I'm plucking a D7. So this D7 that we're coming up on is, let's use these fingers. First finger on the 2nd fret of string 4, middle finger on the 2nd fret of string 2, you have an open C and an open A. So I have 1 and slap, pluck. That's going to get held into beat 3, and then on the end of 3, we're going to come up, hit the open A, strum again for beat 4, and then again come up and hit the open A for the end of 4. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if I call out the hits, I have strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, strum 1. Okay, so it goes from C6 to D7 in that bar. So let's see if we can give that a shot, guys. Here we go. 3 and 4 and strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, strum 1. Nice. And if we backtrack, let's see if we can do 1 to 2 together. 3 and 4 and slide, pluck, 1, strum, pluck, 1, strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, strum 1. Alright, and if that's going a little too fast for you, there is that little cog that you can control the speed of this YouTube player, so I'll put a little image on how to do that. You can slow it to 75, 50%, 25%, and that may be a better speed for you to practice. And the last thing that I want to mention about this intro is if you look at the third hit, so we look at bar 1, the third hit, I put a little dot underneath the notation. That's a little staccato hit. So here and there you can do a little bit of a staccato hit on chords just to give it some accent. So basically it's just lifting pressure up off the strings, and that gives you a nice mute. If you have open strings, you can use the palm of your right hand to touch the strings to mute it. So staccato in a nutshell is just a little pop instead of a sustain. Instead of da, you have da. Just a quick little accent. Gives it a nice little sound. Let's do this. Let's actually try the intro again one more time, a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can hear I put that on that third beat of bar 1. All right, so let's go ahead and tackle melody A now. So I'm going to play the first bar and we'll break it down and learn it. Okay, so that's what the first bar sounds like. So our rhythm is a little tricky. We have 1, triplet, 4, and. So we've got eighth note triplets in the middle. So our first hit, easy, just make a G chord. We can put that little staccato on it. So we can combine both ways for muting. And if you're new to muting, we actually did have a lesson recently that was all about developing precision and control of the right hand. So it was called Fingerpicking Etude number 11. So if you want to dive more into getting better control of your right hand for doing muting and stuff like this, check out that lesson as well. So we're going to hit the G on beat 1. Then we have a triplet lick. So you're going to use that ring finger, lift it up. You're going to hammer on to the 3rd fret of string 3. So you've got 2 to 3. Okay, so just a hammer on. And after that, you're going to play the open E. So you have triplet. So there's your triplet lick. And you're going to double that. So you have triplet, triplet. So that falls onto beat 2 and 3. So 8th note triplets. So the rhythm is 1, triplet, triplet. After that, you're going to play string 1 and then string 4. Okay, and you're still out of this chord shape right here. So together you have 1, triplet, triplet, 1, 4. Okay, so let's see if we can try that together. 3 and 4 and 1, triplet, triplet, 1, 4. Okay, our next bar sounds like this, and take note that I'm literally moving this G chord shape up, directly up one set of strings. So here's what this second bar sounds like. This one's tricky. Let me count out the rhythm. I have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so we're going to start off with this B7. So literally it's the G chord shape. Just move it up one string. So you're on 4, 3, 2, and you have an open A. So you're going to do a strum on beat 1. We can do a staccato hit for that. For beat 2, we're going to go ahead and pluck this chord. And we can come up again and hit string 1 with the thumb, or if you're more comfortable, you can use the ring finger. That's fine too. So together you have 1, 2, and. Okay. After this, you're going to just slide or scooch down a half step. So instead of 2, 3, 2, just move it down a half step. You're on 1, 2, 1. And again, you can hit the open A. It's fine for this. And for this hit, we can do a strum. Okay, doesn't sound really good by itself, but it's in passing and it doesn't sound bad. So check out the action that's happening, or the movement. Okay, so real quick, right? If I slow it down. So after you strum that, you're going back up to B7. So scoot up a half step, pluck that, hold it out into beat 4, and hit the open A after. So the movement together, you have strum, pluck, 1, strum, pluck, 1. Okay? So you just want to get that movement memorized. This is probably one of the trickiest bars in this tune. So you have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? Let's see if we can try together. 3, and 4, and strum, pluck, 1, strum, pluck, 1. One more time. 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Nice. So let's see if we can backtrack. Let's try bar 1 and 2 together. 3 and 4 and 1. Triplet, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Alright, so going into our next bar, we have a C13, so another dominant. It's literally going to be just moving that B7 up a half step. So just scooch those fingers up one half step, and now you're on 3-4-3 with the open A. So here's what this bar sounds like, and it's not super hard. It's picking all out of this chord. Okay, I lied. Picking out of the first half of this chord, but then you've got opens, so pretty easy stuff. So go ahead and make this chord. We're going to go ahead and strum on beat 1, and we're going to start picking our way up. So we have strum 1, 2, 3. Okay, so strum 1, 2, 3. Remember to keep it swung. Now Jari puts a lot of vibrato on that third string, which is really cool. I didn't do as much as him, so you may want to do a lot like him or a little like him. If you're new to vibrato, I'll put a link to a lesson that we did that goes super, like really in-depth into vibrato. So again, you have strum 1, 2, 3, then you're going to hold that out into beat 3. Lift up, play open third, open second, open A. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Let's try together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so our next bar, a little tricky. It's got a diminished movement up the neck. So we're going to start with this E diminished 7, which we played in the beginning of the tune. So remember, it's the first fret of string 3 and 1. So let me play this bar. You can get the context of it. So that's basically it in a nutshell. So we're going to strum, hit string 1 after that. We're going to slap on beat 2. We're going to go up to the next diminished shape, which is a step and a half up. So this one is going to be 3, 4, 3, 4. So each finger gets its own string. And then from there, you're going to move it up a step and a half, and it goes to 6, 7, 6, 7. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So our hits are 1 and slap on 2, pluck on the end of 2, hold into beat 3, and then you can hit on the end of 3, hold into beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's give it a shot. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Nice, let's backtrack. Let's try bar 3 and 4 together. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now let's backtrack. Let's try 1 through 4 together. 3 and 4 and 1. Triplet, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Awesome. That's basically the first half of this melody A. So let's go ahead and look at the second half. Now this is going to be ending number 1. So let me play just the first bar right here, and then we'll break it down. So this is bar 5. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, and ch. So we've got some little percussive hits at the end. That link, or that lesson that I linked earlier, fingerpicking etude number 11 about the right hand, that goes into percussive hits as well. So if you want to check out some really cool accents that you can add to your playing, check out that lesson. So we have a full bar chord. Proper left hand form is super vital for these bar chords. If you need to brush up on any of the form, like positioning of the thumb, how you should have this U-shaped gap, how your index finger should be flat, and which knuckle should be bent, this one, then check out this lesson right here. I'll go ahead and link it right there, but I'll put it in the box below too on proper left-hand form. So we're going to start with a G chord. Bar every string on the 7th fret, take your pinky, put it on the 10th fret of string 1. We're going to hit that for beat 1 and 2. You can see a staccato dot on the first hit. Ba, ba. So you can staccato the first one, sustain the second hit. Gives a nice little dynamic. After that, we're going to go to an E9, bit of a tricky chord. Keep that index finger flat across all 4 strings. Add your middle finger to the 8th fret of string 3, ring finger to the 9th fret of string 1. You can strum down, that's going to be your E9, lift the ring up, and hit the first string by itself. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, and after that, we're going to touch the strings to mute it. We're going to come down with a strum, up with a muted hit of the first string. So that bar together you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, let's give it a shot. 3 and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Now while you're doing these mutes, you can actually just slide down that whole step to catch the next chord, which is an A7. Okay, so this chord right here is going to be your middle finger on 7 on string 3, index on 5 on string 2, ring finger on 7 on string 1. We have an open G as well. So we're going to go ahead and do the same approach as the last bar where we staccato the first hit, okay, and then the second hit we can sustain. Ba, ba. So you could strum that first hit with staccato, ba, and then pluck the second hit. After that, you're going to go down again, and you're going to go to this D chord. Now, this is one that you've probably played before. It's a variation on the standard D. We're going to bar string 1, 2, and 3, so we're ignoring string 4, and then put the pinky on 5 on string 1. So we can strum 3 down, lift the pinky up, play the 2nd fret of string 1, and then open A and open E. Okay, so I have strum up with the thumb for 2, strum down for those opens. So the second bar of this first ending is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's give it a shot. 3 and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, if we backtrack, let's try 5 and 6 together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll try one more time. I think I sped up a little bit. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the last couple bars, and then that will end this first part of melody A. All right, here's what it sounds like. So those are the 2 bars. Let's break down the first one, so bar 7. So it's going to start with a slap, and then you're going to come up and pluck that G6. You're going to hold that into beat 2, and then hit the first string by itself. So you have 1 and 2 and. Okay, after that, just scooch down a half step, and you're going to go ahead and strum, and then we can pluck and staccato the last hit. So 3, 4. So that's the beats that it falls on. So you have 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So we have again, slap, pluck, hold, and then hit string 1. Go down a half step, you can strum, and then pluck. So again, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Let's give it a shot. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, after this, the very last bar, lift up. You're going to be playing out of that C6, so you've got open 3rd, open 1st, open 4. That's going to kick it off. Here's what it sounds like again. Okay, so again, C6 to the D7, same movement we saw earlier. So 3, 1, 4, make the D7, pluck that on the end of 2, hold into beat 3, then we're going to hit the first string, strum, and then the first string again. So you have 3, 1, 4, pluck, 1, strum, 1. Okay, let's give it a shot. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Awesome. So let's see if we can try 7 to 8 together, and then we'll try 5 through 8, and we'll go 1 through 8. Here we go, 7 and 8 together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now let's go ahead and try 5 through 8. So here we go. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Awesome. Now let's go 1 through 8, all of melody A. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1. Triplet, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nice. So guys, when you get to that part in the tune, you're going to repeat back and you're going to go back to that first bar melody A. So you're going to play the first 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which were 2, 3, 4. So when you get there, after that diminished walk up, you're going to jump to ending number 2. So if you're following with the tablature, that is going to be the 11th bar, so top of the 2nd page. And that will be our alternate ending. So let's go ahead and look at those 4 bars before we jump into melody B. So let's consider this bar number 5 because it's the 5th bar for the 2nd ending for melody A. So that'll be easier for me to keep track of where we're at. So we'll call these 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let me play number 5 for you and then we'll break it down and learn it. Not too hard, but a bit of a jump. So a little tricky. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, if I call out that rhythm, I have 1 and 2, 3 and... So we're starting with this G, but this time around we're going to bar the G chord. So not the typical way we play, but go ahead and do a partial bar, strings 1 through 3, and then add that middle finger. So we're going to go ahead and strum, and then use the pinky to play 5 on string 1, and then lift up and play the 2nd fret. So you have strum 5, 1... After that, you're going to go up. We're going to play out of an E9 chord. So on the tab, you see a little parentheses on the 4th string. So you can do that same full bar chord. We already covered this E9. You can do the full bar chord, but I think it's really tricky. So I don't really think you need to extend to grab the 4th string. So I think it's easier if you keep the partial bar idea in mind. So here you are barring the 3rd string down. As you move up, you can see how my fingers shift and I can bar the 2nd string down. So watch that index finger. As I move up, I bar from 2nd down and my middle finger plays the 3rd string. So it's like a flip-flop, right? It's like that. You can practice that little flip-flop. So as you move up, you flip-flop, and that should be a lot easier. But don't forget, you have to add 1 finger for that 9th fret. So I have 8, 7, 9. Okay, and after that I can lift that ring up and play the 1st string. So a little tricky with that movement. You have strum 5, 2, flip flop and move up, strum, and then hit the 7th fret of string 1. So again you have strum 5, 2, strum 7. Let's see if we can try. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and... That end gets held into beat 4, so it buys you some time, and then you're going to move back into the same bar that we played earlier, so that A sev, where we hit it twice, move down to the D, hit the 2nd, and then the opens. So that was the exact same bar as that same spot. So that was the 6th bar from ending 1, so same identical bar right here. So let's see if we can try 5 and 6 of ending 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alright, so now let's look at the last couple bars. This first one's going to be a variation on bar 7 from ending 1, not too hard, and then the last bar will kick us into G7. Okay, so here's what it sounds like. Okay, and I lied, I played 7 and 8. Let's break down 7 first. So it's going to start with a slap, and you're going to pluck the G chord this time. And this one we can make as the regular 3 finger for the G. So you have slap, pluck, hold into beat 2, and then hit string 1 by itself. So again we have 1 and 2 and... Okay, so slap, pluck, hold, and then on the end of 2 hit string 1. Now after this, we're going to go ahead and hit the first and second string open, and then we're going to go back to that diminished chord that walked up to the G6. So you have 4 and. So they're going to be quick hits. So those open hits before it will be a quarter note. So together the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay, so let's see if we can try together. 3 and 4 and slap, pluck, 1 strum, ba ba. Call it the rhythm. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay, now after this, we're going to hold the G6 into beat 1. That means on the end of 1, you're going to hit string 1, come down for a slap on beat 2, add your index to that first fret of string 2, makes it a G7, and we're going to pluck that. Okay, so a little tricky because you have that tie going into it. So if we call out the rhythm so far for this first half, we have 1 and 2 and. Okay, so remember you're holding out the G6 for beat 1. 1 and 2 and. Okay, so 1, 1 slap, pluck. Okay, you're going to hold that into beat 3, hit string 1, and then strum the G7, and then on the end of 4, you can play the open A. So you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and strum and. Little tricky with that. So take a look at the tab, get that hits and the rhythms memorized, get that beat stuck in your head, and remember this is my take on it. Jari played this couple bars completely different than me. So you may want to watch his version too if you want to do something more strum-like. So let's see if we can try this 8th bar together, and then we'll try 7 and 8. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, so let's give 7 and 8 together. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Awesome. Now let's try 5 through 8, ending 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nice. So that gives us everything for the intro and melody A. Now this lesson video is getting a little lengthy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and split this tune into 2 parts. Now I know in the beginning of this video I said we were going to learn everything in the YouTube video, but I'm going to go ahead and put the second half of the song on rockclass101.com, and it's going to be completely free. So just go to the site and you can watch the second half of the lesson, and don't forget the tabs are there. So I'm sure you've got the tabs by now, but if you want to learn the second half of the lesson, it's going to be free if you sign up for basic membership. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the part 2 one. Thanks.